This is the new Centurion Arms V2 and E4 ETB bolt and Sandcutter bolt carrier groups. We're just doing a general overview on what they are, going over both the new bolts from Centurion, what they fit, and some of the features about them. We've been shooting them a good bit and have really enjoyed them, so we're just going to talk a little bit more about them and hopefully help answer some questions. We're going to talk about both the V2 and E4 ETB bolt. I'll see if we can get this in focus here. You'll see on the front what's unique about both these is that these are both dual ejector bolts. Centurion designed these to increase reliability, especially on suppressor overgas rifles. Both these bolts have a lifetime bolt breakage guarantee, and the dual ejectors help to rotate the brass off the bolt face faster for reliable ejection. Knight's Armament implemented something similar in the past years on their rifles with their new E3.2 bolt. That's what ships with all their SR-15 rifles. It's simply to increase reliability, especially on suppressed setups where it can introduce a lot more pressure into the system. Dual ejectors add a redundancy if an ejector seizes up, and Centurion made sure that their bolts also take standard parts. So standard gas rings, extractors, and inserts all work with these. They also accept standard cam pins and firing pins, so there's no proprietary service parts. So over long periods of time, as parts wear out on your bolt, like your gas rings, you don't have to go and search for something specific. It's just off-the-shelf parts. Talking about the V2 bolt specifically, they strengthened it by increasing the radius between the bolt lugs and the body, reducing the stress points. These bolts, the V2 specifically, are mil-spec compatible. The E4 ETB bolt is similar, however, it also has a taper-leg design, further increasing the strength. Centurion, I also believe, recently released a 6-arc, 6.5 Grendel Type 2 variant, which could be awesome, especially for the arc platform, adding some extra strength. You can get these bolts on their own or in a complete package with their new Sandcutter bolt carrier group. This is the V2 BCG. It's a full chrome bolt carrier group with obviously the sand cuts, aux carrier key screws, and then it's available with either the V2 bolt, which will work with your mil-spec barrels, or the E4 ETB bolt. So we've gotten some questions over time about bolt compatibility. We put together this chart to show the fitment between the various bolt options out there, so we'll put that on the screen now. As you can see here, a mil-spec bolt will work in a standard barrel extension, the new Centurion T-marked extension. It will not work in a Knight's Armament E3 extension. The V2 bolt is essentially a mil-spec bolt as far as compatibility. You can use it in all your standard barrel extensions, the Centurion T-marked extensions, and you cannot use it in your Knight's E3 extension. The Centurion E4 ETB bolt, however, will not work in a standard barrel extension due to that taper leg design. It will work in the T-marked extension, and it will work in a Knight's Armament E3 extension. So for the guys who have Knight's rifles, and if you want a backup bolt that's readily available, it's a great option for you. The benefit of dual ejectors is that it rotates the brass off the bolt face faster, so we thought it would be cool to put together some videos showing that. We shot unsuppressed and suppressed with 3 different silencers that all have varying levels of back pressure with a mil-spec BCG and a V2 BCG, so you can see that fast ejection. As you can see in the footage, ejection with the V2 bolt is consistent across the board, regardless of which silencer we're running. We tested this under a pretty extreme scenario using a high back pressure silencer that was red hot. It was gas stacking, and even then the V2 bolt continued to eject brass reliably. This does bring up 2 important points. First, the video should be viewed as a visual reference. It's a look at how efficiently the dual ejectors are clearing spent casings. Of course, we always recommend starting with a well-gassed quality barrel and appropriate buffer system. Reliable, consistent function should always be the priority. Second, something worth noting, originally brought up by Chad at Sotar, is that you may need to reduce your buffer weight slightly when running a dual ejector setup. This is something that directly reflects our experience because of the added unlocking pressure needed. We've noticed that on some rifles with conservative gas ports and low back pressure cans, dropping a single buffer weight helps maintain reliable function. It's not always necessary, but something definitely to keep in mind when tuning your setup. Between these three V2 bolts, these are 2 complete Sandcutters and 1 V2 bolt, we've logged close to 7,000 rounds using the V2 bolt. Some of our range time involves internal product development or testing on behalf of other companies, which sometimes means high round counts in harsh conditions. One of the bolt carrier groups we're using has right around 5,700 rounds through it. No cleaning, no lubrication. It's been cycled through multiple different rifles and silencers, and despite all that, still performing without issue. We're not doing any sort of formal destructive testing and do not plan to, but because of the nature of some testing, we end up putting gear through some pretty abusive firing schedules at times. So take that for what it's worth. It's just a small sample size and a relatively low round count in regards to typical bolt life expectancy. As far as availability, Centurion Arms made the entire BCG available either as a complete unit or as individual components, which gives you flexibility depending on your needs. If you're looking for the benefits of the dual ejector, but don't need a full bolt carrier group, the bolt alone offers a excellent value. It's MIL-SPEC compatible, the cam pin, firing pin, and all the small parts, so you can drop it right into an existing carrier if you already have a carrier you like, or if you want the full package, the complete Sandcutter BCG is a very high quality drop-in ready solution. Whether you're looking for just the enhancements of the V2 bolt or running a suppressed rifle or plan to, especially as the suppressor landscape continues to grow, these could be a great option for you. We carry all the V2 and E4 ETB variations at Revival Defense, so if you have any questions, reach out to us anytime.